Hello, good evening everyone. Good evening, not many people. Looking at that. I didn't really set it up very early, I probably should have done. Just thought I'd do a live stream on here, and I'll probably do another one on the main channel, on the other channel that I do on Friday, because that seems to go pretty well on a Friday. I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, it's a piece of free music that you're allowed to use to cast with from a site called benmusic.com. Is it Ben something? Ben Sounds. If you look in the description of the show, click on the link, it'll take you through to it. So if you want to download that to your computer and play it, I actually used it on some other videos on the channel, some sort of desert scenes and things like that. And there's a few good ones on that Ben Sounds. It's got, it's quite a few there. Obviously, you've got to pay for, because that's what they're in the business of doing, making money. But that one is about 6 minutes long in its entirety, and it's basically like that. If you look on the channel, there is one video on there where I actually used it, and it's got like 4K views of sort of cliffs and stuff like that. Like desert scenes and stuff like that. I've actually got the same music on the way out as well. So anyway, we're just here for 30 minutes. Obviously, it's not a vape show, this one. It's just the other channel that I've got, and I'm trying to get a few more subscribers for, if I'm really honest. So if you are watching this at the end of the video, I think there is a thing there you can click on to subscribe. And also, if you wouldn't mind, if you could just click the thumbs up. It's quite important on this channel, because obviously it gets you up the algorithm with YouTube, so you've more chance of people actually looking at what you do. And good evening, Free Rider Vapor. I hope you're doing well. Obviously, we've only got Becky. I think there's only 3 people in. Yeah, have a look. Yeah, so if you just click on the link in this actual when it uploads, it's in there. And there's one of the videos underneath where I put it with some different scenes. I just basically went on VidEasy and downloaded quite a few different things, put them into 4K. Well, they already were in 4K, and then just put a thing underneath. It was just one of those evenings where I didn't have anything to do. Obviously, just at the minute, there's not a lot to do. So I just fancied doing something, and I've got some pretty good filmmaking software. I've got the Wondershare Filmora Wondershare. Hello, Raji. Good evening, subscriber number 41. From now on, you will always be called. I've had mine. I had mine yesterday, Free Rider. Which one did you actually get? Did you get the Oxford one, the AstraZeneca? I've got like a bit of a dull sort of headache today. Hello, Becky. How you doing? Bit of a dull sort of headache today, and just a sore arm, and that's the only thing that it's done. I do feel a little bit sort of overheated, but I've talked to my brother, and he had the same one, and he said he did for about 24 hours, and it just goes away. But I was really pleased to get it, and I can't wait to get the next one. And that's the way it is, isn't it? Obviously, there is a choice. If you don't want to have the vaccine, that is completely up to you. But I've actually personally wanted to have it. Obviously, driving a cab for a living, you see that many different people, and I want the year to move on so everybody can start to make money again, and everybody can start going about the business, and everybody can go for a pint. And well, obviously that with me, that is a big thing, because if they can go for a pint, then I can make some money. Which yeah, that's it. I had AstraZeneca. That's what I had. I went to our local showground, the Lincolnshire Showground, and they used one of the buildings on there, and it was all really well organised. You had to whatever mask you turned up in, they give you a new one. Then you had to go through about two or three different desks. Good evening, Graham. Hope you're well. And then eventually got through to a nurse who was really chatty. You're due to have yours sometime in April, so it'll come round pretty quick. I got a text message and booked it through that. If I'd have waited for it till the next day, I could have got one at our local hospital. But they didn't have an availability to book the second one, and I actually wanted to know when I was going. for travel plans and stuff like that. Just wanted to get it all over with. But so today I'm a little bit clammy. That's what I've noticed. And I just, like a dull sort of, I call it a Stella headache, because if you've ever drunk a load of Stella beer, get a what? A squonk? Do you know anywhere I can get a squonk for the Kennedy 25 RDA? Oh, squonk pin, you mean? I don't know. Isn't the one in the box? There's usually one in the bag of Sperry's in the box. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. To be honest, you'll probably find out that something else fits it. That's usually the thing. But I genuinely don't know. They might not have even been designed for that, so there might not be one available. Obviously, it needs to go up, doesn't it? You had yours done at the doctor's. Oh, you're lucky, Gareth. Obviously, there's no. The doctors are organising you to go to the hospital, and if you want it done slightly quicker, your second one slightly quicker. Oh, mod maker has squonk pins. There you go. Here's a good one for you. I rang my GP and they asked, "Will Gareth have?" Because of health, he told me the answer. Oh, excellent, brilliant. Oh, you got it second-hand from someone. So obviously now Kennedy are technically closed at the moment, but I've heard rumours that they're not going to be. So you never know. Sometimes it's a weird thing. Hello, Simon. How you doing? All right. It is a weird thing. Sometimes all you need to do is you just need to put in Google, where can I get a squonk pin for a Kennedy 25, and it'll click off onto something. And all of a sudden there'll be, it'll come up with a question, and then you'll find out, and there'll be a couple of links, and you click it, and you're done. It's the amount of things I've done. If anybody ever knows, or if it hears of anybody that's got a peacemaker for sale with the extension glass, I know there was somebody that used to come in our chat that had one stood on the shelf, and he couldn't get used to it. Well, I finally found out how to wick them, so I'd like to buy another one, but they're not available, obviously. Because they're from squid, aren't they? And squid's packed in as well. So if anybody ever hears of the peacemaker, I can't think who it was. It's somebody. In fact, I think somebody on Twitter. No, it was somebody on Twitter that wanted one. So hope you're all well. I just had a look at Nature Vape. He was good, as always. Nice little chilled out sort of show. I don't know if you caught us last night. We were on the Laid Back Vape show. Well, I was. And Flat Cap and a few other people. That was a cracking night. Well, Matty, I've never ever spoke to Matty on a one-to-one basis ever. And last night I just ended up in a room with him. A really nice guy. Spent a lot of hours talking to him, and what a lovely fella. And he's really been through the works. He actually was nearly no longer with us. He's had pneumonia twice, and something else that he had as well, which is probably a bit personal to tell you, but we're very, very lucky he actually made it, bless him, for such a young chap. So are they pretty standard then, Graham? So if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do. And then, obviously if I do something on here, plans are with this one, I'm just probably going to do different sorts of reviews on there rather than just do this. And when we get travelling again, I'd like to put a few travel videos on there just to let you know some of the beautiful places, beautiful cheap places that we visit. You're not going to see anything about Saint-Tropez or anything. It was nice to see Streck's doing well, and he's obviously got a vast knowledge of all things vaping, because he's been doing it for such a long time, and it's a pleasure to watch him do it. I think he's going to do quite well in this. He's going to do well, isn't he? I enjoyed that review of yours today as well, Simon. That was good. I'd see, I've got this one. This is the one, the OBS Cube kit. I've had that now for probably 3 years. That's got an internal battery. And then I bought the Cube X kit with the sub-ohm tank on, which was absolute complete garbage. And this one has a similar sort of thing to what you were saying with the changing the wattage, but you click the top power button 3 times, and then it allows you to change the wattage. But it doesn't do anything with the puff counter. Now I've got the Ultrona gear, And that one, when it gets to 1,000 puffs, it switches itself off, and you have to turn it back on again, and then not turn it back on, but you have to then clear the puff counter before it'll work, which seems an absolute bit of a waste of time, really. I don't know about anybody else, but I've never ever taken any notice of a puff counter, the length of the amount of draw that you have. I used to smoke 30 cigarettes a day before I went on to doing this, and I don't think that inhaling PG, VG and a bit of flavour is going to be anything, like smoking was. So I've never worried about the amount of vapour I've ever inhaled. So it just seems a bit of a waste of time, the puff counter. And anything else that they're fascinating? Well, this one's actually got a little mouth to lung RTA on the top. But you said about that, didn't you, the other day, Simon, that they had them for sale somewhere. So I thought, well, I could probably do with one of them. So I had a look, but by the time you'd done with the shipping and stuff like that, it was 25 quid. It was a waste of bloody time. So I know where there is one with a battery. There is one on Amazon with with the complete kit for 40. So why would you bother spending 23 quid on a tank? So you were saying about what you got off Amazon as well. I got this. I got the cold steel, but I got the one with the rattly buttons, which is slightly different. Bit bloody annoying. But apparently they were made originally in conjunction with somebody else, and on most of them, on the first ones, it had his name on the top of them, and on mine it hasn't. So whether they were like the version 2 and they've been chucked together, I don't know. But anyway, this is one of these chat interactive, just a bit of a hint. So if you'd like to interact, it would be really good. So anyway, osteopath tomorrow, back for the second visit, so we should be able to walk straight again. I've had a bit of a thing where over the last probably 4 months, while everybody's been shut down, I've ended up with this feeling that I've always got back pain, and since I haven't got any back pain, I'm still walking in the same way, like bloody Quasimodo. So I've had to sort of get out of the habit. I noticed the other day I was doing something to the back of the car, and when I stood up, I got one shoulder up in the air like that. I was all, and I thought, what are you doing that for? Stand up straight. You ain't got any pain. And so I said, I'm going back to see him tomorrow. So that's another dice with death. Hopefully I should feel a bit better from this thing. But if anybody's a bit worried about going to get the vaccination, I'm still here. I had it 24 hours ago. As far as I know, nobody's tracking me or anything like that with any weird thing that they've put in my veins. So we're all good. So don't be scared if you want it. If you don't want it, sure, it's your thing. I found out though, if you do want it, you don't talk about it as much as if you don't. So I got my little sticker and stuck it on my card thing at the front of the cab, so people could be reassured that the driver of the taxi had a vaccination. I had some work done on the hello the chair. You're only here for my candy bar. We're too late, mate. All gone. I'll tell you what, that doesn't taste like any other candy bar I've ever had from them. That it's got a distinct taste of another English chocolate bar, and I can't think what it was. It was. I'd got it out of the fridge as well, so it did actually taste like one of the ice cream ones I think that I'd had before, like the ice cream Snickers or something like that. So, did I have any side effects? We were just saying earlier. I've got. If you drink 10 pints of Stella and you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you've always got that sort of warm sensation down the middle of your brain. And I've also got, I feel like somebody's like Shrek's chucked me out of a pub by punching me in the arm. So, but other than that, there's nothing, mate. Did you get any? Have you been yet, Simon? Because obviously I don't know what it's like. Graham, he's been, and Graham hasn't been very well. Net reality, he's not been very well all day, but he's also had some health problems in the past, so whether that's to do with that, I don't know. But I'm sure this time tomorrow we'll both be jumping about like spring lambs. But anyway, June the 14th, my next one. Me and my wife booked it completely separately, and we're in with an hour of each other. So hopefully we're going to get in together and see if they'll let us, do them both at once. And that'll be it. But then they're talking about having boosters, aren't they, for people that aren't that are vulnerable. My dad in particular, I would think they'll put him forward for that because he had his in December and January. Yeah, it's funny. Which one did you have, Bill? Did you have is it Moderna or something like that? They do actually give you a piece of paper. I never read mine, but my wife read it tonight. She said, "Oh, I didn't get a piece of paper, so I'm going to read yours." And exactly what it says on the tin. That's exactly what happens. You can feel warm. And that does it remind you of the BCG, Mick? I don't know what that is, mate. Got to be honest. You'll have to tell me what that is. BCG. It's felt alright on the day of the jab, day after a bit rough, yeah. That's right. But I've spoke to both my brothers and they've had the similar sort of thing. One brother said 24 hours after he had it, he had a temperature for 24 hours. But he's the one that had a real bad dose of COVID last March and is still not fit from it. So he was quite keen to have it as well. You had the Pfizer. Is that the one is that American made? Apparently this one's made in Liverpool. So Graham's probably not feeling too well because his was a lot fresher than ours. No, got no sound effect. No, it probably won't. They did say with the AstraZeneca one, if you did start to feel a bit funny, just TB. I don't remember a TB, yeah. They said, take regular paracetamol and drink plenty of water, and you'd probably feel better. BCG's for TB. I don't remember that one. I must have had it when I was at school. Now we went to Egypt on a boat, sailed down the Nile, and because you were going to sail down the Nile, you had to have a special sort of injections for obviously because the Nile's in Egypt is probably not the cleanest river you've ever seen in your life, and we had one in particular what we had to go down to the doctors for, and it was like somebody shoving a red hot poker in your arm and then punching you, and it felt like that for over a week. The really, your arm was really stiff, and I can't remember, it must have been typhoid or something like that. But anywhere else that you were travelling in Egypt, if you weren't going on the Nile, you didn't have to have them. But they just said it, it's not the cleanest river in the world. Yeah, I can't remember. The thing is, I'm 55, so I can't remember, Graham. I can remember the one where they give you a sugar lump and you thought, oh, that's a sweet, but I can't remember what that was. I know my mum and dad, they've both got these sort of scars on their arm where they got the skin and sort of folded it back and then jabbed something in there. Or did they actually get, there was one where you got the, I know there was one where they had multiple needles and they put it on like that and went like that and you got the whole thing at once, but yeah, I can't remember now, to be honest. It was like, did you get turned sideways on the boat? The thing is with a Nile boat, Bill, it's a flat bottom boat and they're specially made. They're like 4 stories high, but there's the bottom of the boat is flat, and it's made because parts of the Nile, obviously at different times of the year, it's not very deep, so they can't have it dragging along the thing. Dragging on the bottom, so they actually make them flat bottomed. But I've been through. We stayed in Sharm el Sheikh, and from what I can remember, that is not far off that the end of that canal, because some of the boats that came past there are about 2 miles away. They're absolutely huge. My geography is not brilliant, and obviously when you get on an aeroplane, you just fly to somewhere and then you get off, so you don't actually work out what the geography was. But I'm sure it was the main shipping canal. Multiple needles was TB, so yeah, I've had that. Flat bottom boats, yeah, they're quite a weird thing. But that's why they did them. They weren't flat. Obviously it just tip over, wouldn't it? But they were about, I think there were 3 or 4 stories high. You had a beautiful cabin, and then one end was a massive dining room, and the other end there was a bar, and it was nice. Tetanus jab is good for dog bites, yep. Stops rabies. Yeah, I've had a few of them. Because as a kid, you always want to stroke a dog that didn't want to be stroked, didn't you? Oh no, here we go again, another one. I can't remember last time I had one. But they're pretty sore when you've had one of them and all, aren't they? Yeah, I was... when I was... what would I be? 13 or 14, I was nearly 6 foot tall. And as skinny as a lad. And then when I left school at 16, I went into that manual labour type of thing. And by the time I got to 17 and 18, I actually had a natural six-pack. Never been to a gym in my life. Now I've got a 24-pack and there's absolutely no muscle there whatsoever. But, I was really, really fit. And then at 21, I started driving for a living on construction sites. And I never actually realised I was putting weight on. I just thought my clothes were getting too small. It's a bit ridiculous now, I don't really think about it. And the next thing, I was 20 stone. The biggest weight I've ever been is 22 stone. And I was enormously fat. And I was that, and I was that in my 30s. And if I went anywhere where it was warm, you'd be walking about and your legs are rubbing together, and I used to be some right bloody state. And then I lost loads of weight, but obviously this lockdown, it's come back on around my stomach. You will never get me on a plane. If you get me on one, you need to knock me out before, as I hate flying. First time I ever flew, the first time I ever went abroad, I went on a bus to Spain. So I was 28 hours sat up on a bus. And the next year I thought, I ain't doing that again. It's a long way, because it's 28 hours back as well. So the next year we saved up and we flew to Corfu, in Greece, Greek island. And I got on an aeroplane and I was genuinely scared. And I was a big guy, sat next to an old lady. She said, "Are you all right, Doc?" I said, "To be honest, I'm a bit scared." She said, "Do you want me to hold your hand?" And I bet everybody thought, look at that nice big bloke holding that old lady's hand, but it was the other way around. Yeah. I don't do very well with mosquito bites. They tend to go the wrong way. I've never had to have... hello, Shrek. I've never had to have any medical treatment as such, but nearly. I did get a wasp sting. I'm not very good with wasps. And I got stung on that finger and it swelled up like that. It was touching it nose like a bloody massive sausage. And I had to have an injection for that to get it to go down. But it's 3,000 feet in a tin can. I've been on loads and loads of flights. I first flew when I was 30, and I dread to think how many times I've been. I would go, if I could get away with it, I would go on holiday for 2 weeks out of every month. We've been some places, and we've enjoyed every second of every one of them. Yeah, it's got windows too, yeah, and seats and that. And what I normally like is the bar service, because when you get on holiday, pretty cool, especially if you get the front of the aeroplane, which is we've been on not first class or even business class, but the Thomson something extra or plus or something like that. And that's free booze. That was nice. I went to America with him. He got on the aeroplane, came out with a glass of fizz. It wasn't champagne, but it was fizzy, so we drank that. As soon as we took off, would you like a drink? I'd love a gin and tonic. So they bring you two. Hello, Shrek. I did speak to you, mate. So they bring you two of them. Then the next thing, it's dinner time. So they brought you a meal with a glass of wine. Then walked past and said, "Do you want another one?" So I had one of them. Then I went to sleep. It's surprising, isn't it? So I got all that down me. I had a couple of pints in the airport as well, because we were in a free lounge. But our window son came over. My wife's mate's a heavy smoker, and she kept going on about going on holiday. And she mentioned, "Can you still smoke on the plane?" I said, No. She said, "Oh, well, I'll go to the toilet then and open the window." So we'll probably be in a bit of a state if you do. Yeah, flying's not bad, but crashing is not recommended. You just grab an oxygen mask, buckle. We've never had anything. We came back from the Dominican once, and it was that time of year, and there was a bit of a storm, and it dropped about 100 foot. That was a weird feeling, because it just, the feeling of that, and then it settled. But other than that, we never had anything. They forgot to put the ice, the when they bolt the drinks cabinet in the storage at the front, they forgot to shut the door. And as soon as he started to take off, it fell out like that, went poof, and all the ice went down the plane. I remember that. But other than that, I've never had anything. And I've been a lot of places. Never had nothing. I once got refused service on one in my proper drinking days. They did tell me that I couldn't have any more. And I also got well, she came to me and I said, I'd like a bottle of gin, because it was coming to that time. She said, now, if I sell you this bottle of gin, you promise me you're not going to drink it, won't you? I said, I don't really like gin, that. I said, it's for the wife. Well, she said, I will sell you it, but I'm going to put it in the top out of the way. I went through it in flight training in the military. I bet you did, yeah. What, the airless thing, where they pretend to crash? Or that thing. I bet it's cool, though. Obviously, I was listening to you the other day when you were talking on Zoom, and you were saying that, and that is, I've been watching how they film airlessness on aeroplane films, and they just drop it, don't they, and then you become airless. I don't fit in the seats on a plane, so I don't bother. Now I can imagine you would struggle a bit. Well, I once came back from Schiphol, from Amsterdam Airport, and I think somebody was having a bit of a laugh, because it was the ones where they had, I'm not sure it was a prop job or whether it was the old jets that they had, but they had 2 seats either side and they were only really small, and they put me and the other biggest guy on the plane next to each other, and my mate spotted where I was going to sit and he went, I think I'll sit there, because he's only a slip of a lad, like. And that's what he did. The window out at 30,000 feet. Shit. I bet that's weird. You were the pilot on the Enola Gay. I did hear him say we were flying to Schiphol once, and then only got the door on the first lock. And she said, that door hadn't sealed properly, and the other one went, yeah, I thought I got an headache, and they just carried on with what we were doing. Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, I have to, because people are tall in different ways, and I've got extra long legs. And from the hip to the knee is the longest part of my leg. That's actually how I'm tall, and so I need extra leg room to fit in, because I just don't fit in. There's no pleasure in it whatsoever, just sat there. But you see bigger people than me, and they're just like, well, I'm not paying 30 quid. And they'll scrunch themselves in the bloody seat, don't they? 4 hours sat like that. Must be walking around like John Wayne all week. If the thing is, out with that, Becky, you miss out on so much. You really do. Because like I say, we travelled on a bus over to Spain, 28 hours, and that flight you'd be 3 hours. You'd actually be from your house to the hotel. It's crazy. It's a bloody long way. Right, so I got a chance to look through France. France is 900 miles long, and I think we went over every bump, and it woke me up again. Have you got big toes, Bill? Anyway, it's time to go. These are just little 30-minute ones. Keeps everybody interested, keeps the chat buzzing. I can carry on thinking of things to say for 30 minutes, but when it gets to an hour on your own, you start to scratch your head a bit. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I wish you would, and if you would just click that thumbs up button, try and get the channel up the analytics a little bit, would be good. I wouldn't trust the pilot. I knew a few. I were in the pub. Yeah, I know. I know a lad that works or flew for a company beginning with R, and he was one of the biggest party animals. He's now got 2 kids, and obviously hasn't flown anywhere for a while. But he was a nightmare. He was an absolute nightmare when he was drunk. And I said to him one day, I said, if I ever get on your plane, and I said, the stewardess comes and says, can you come and talk to this man? He's called Mick, and he's stood on his head on one of the seats playing up. I said, it'll be me, because I said, I'll do it on purpose. You're an absolute pain in the arse. So that's what... Anyway, I never got on one, so that's good. Anyway, thanks ever so much for being there. Thanks for coming in and being in chat. And if you could just click the old thumbs up, it'd be really handy. Get it up the analytics a bit, see if anybody wants to come and subscribe. But I did get quite a few views on the first one. And I think the second one's up to 70, and there's only that for... The first one was up to that 110, I think. So hopefully we might do a bit of good. Thanks a lot, Cloud Chucker. and we'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.